So if you've never seen the game of wheelchair basketball, I would say that it's like rugby, football, hockey, and basketball all combined into one.
I'd say wheelchair basketball is, very similar to stand-up basketball. There's just a lot more contact in it. It's more of a contact sport, so it's kind of a mix between really football and basketball. So it's a lot of fun to watch. It's if you haven't been to a game, you're definitely missing out.
You can smell the sulfur burning off the hand rims as they rub against each other. You can see guys flip over, hit the ground, pop right back up. They're strapped in, their chairs are considered part of their bodies. It's not like you would imagine seeing a hospital chair and some people just kind of sitting around on the court being pushed around. That's not what we do. It is a very high caliber, physically demanding sport.
I think all over it's probably the most inclusive sports ever. So adaptive athletics gives anyone a chance. So it doesn't matter if you're handicapped or not, you can still play together and just like be a big family all over the world.
So I came here looking to get into wheelchair sports, and I started right away playing wheelchair basketball and wheelchair tennis, and spent a lot of time every day working on tennis and basketball, and so that's what I did the past 2 years, and this year I've switched to just playing tennis and focusing on that. But I've had a good experience so far, getting as much sports as I can, and also getting an education. It's really about being disciplined in your work on court, your work in the weight room, our work in the classroom at school, our work at home, feeding ourselves well. That it's really essential to be disciplined in every part of your life so that you can experience the success and the joy that comes from winning the games that we play.
So the Strand Harden Arena is a facility built specific for our adapted athletics program. This facility houses all of our coaching staff, our sports medicine program, our sport performance program, as well as we play all of our home tournaments here, all the practices is here. And so it's really a very, very unique opportunity in that everything is centrally located. It was also the first facility built specific for adapted athletics in collegiate adapted athletics. And so before we moved into this facility, we did all of our training out of the Student Rec Center, and that got us by. We were able to train pretty effectively there, but transitioning to this space and having everything in one location, everybody is 100 yards away from each other at the max to talk about different things. It's just made everything a lot more streamlined, a lot more efficient.
Our student athletes are in here all the time. They do their studying in here, they lift in here, they do their strength and conditioning program in here, they play basketball in here. On rainy days, our tennis team is in here working on their skills.
We're pretty blessed to be here, and it's really kind of helped take what we do to the next level. Puts a little bit more seriousness to the fact that we're college athletes training every day just like any stand-up sport on campus, and that's our big mission, is to give our athletes the same opportunities that any other athlete on campus would have.
Lot of reps, lot of reps, lot of reps.
Transitioning from the student body facility to our own facility has been absolutely phenomenal. We have plenty of space. We don't have to fight for elbow room. The equipment is spaced out in such a way that it makes it easy and effortless to do all of the weight training that we need to, and it has dramatically improved our strengthening and conditioning.
Being able to come here and have our own space has just made training so much more efficient, and the touches that Dynamic was able to put on our equipment to make it specific to our population really has just made a huge impact for our kids. We have wider benches, which helps them with support. They put specific mounting brackets on there for us to, again, increase support with the belt system that we use. They made a para powerlifting bench for our athletes, which has been really beneficial on bench press and some other movements, and everything that they supplied for our weight room has just really been top notch.
The custom equipment really allows us to separate ourselves in the second half of games, most games, and it has really shown itself last year in the national tournaments. In the second half of games, we kind of just put our foot on the throttle, and teams couldn't keep up with us, and that's due to the way that Coach Wright, his strength and conditioning program works with Dynamic to really set up these machines that are behind me and make them get the most for each athlete, no matter what their disability is and what level of injury they are. He really finds a way to get everything out of them with these machines.
No matter what team you're working with or what population, your training, there's always differences. You know, you have somebody with longer arms than another person, or you have somebody with longer legs than another person, or, you know, their torso length is a little different. And so there's always that variation in there. But with our population, it's kind of magnified, as opposed to, you know, having someone with a slightly varying arm length. You have somebody that has more musculature that they're able to use, more functional mass. You know, we might have somebody that is a single leg amputee, and so it's not a matter of different limb length. It's more of like that limb's not there. Or you may have somebody that is a high spinal cord injury that doesn't have function, say, below their sternum, and you're having to prepare them for the same sport as an individual who might be able to use all of their functional mass. And so I think, like I said, a unique portion of this job is just being able to be adaptable. To be able to adapt workouts, to adapt training, to learn and build a rapport with your athletes and figure out like what works for them, what do they feel comfortable doing. And once you've figured that out, you can really push these kids to a level that I think outside of the University of Alabama, they're really not getting pushed to that far.
I think that he is a very hard worker, very diligent, and he gets to see all 32 of our athletes 3 times a week, right? He gets to lay hands on them more than probably the coaches do, especially during the off season. And his intenseness and his drive and his dedication to make these kids the best that they can be is astounding, and he gives it everything that he's got.
Training at the Adaptive Athletics facility here at the University of Alabama has been absolutely phenomenal. And I can say this because we have great equipment and we have great professional teachers and coaches that are able to push us to the max.
Let's go, ladies. Get your strong moving. Let's get ready to roll this morning. Let's go. A couple more reps. Keep working, and relax.
Whether it's at the high school, collegiate level, or professional for that matter, I would absolutely recommend Dynamic Fitness and Strength. They've done a phenomenal job outfitting our room. The customer service has been top notch. The people that work there are phenomenal. All the way from Kurt and Tammy all the way down has just been a really positive experience, and I would recommend them to anyone.